Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League playoffs, race number 2 in season 2. I'm Nathan Garrett, Dave Toll next to me. We are out on the Magnificent 8 today, Dave. This course is going to be pretty difficult, I think. Well, it's a perfect mix for a TT course. It's not just completely flat. There isn't a ton of climbing on it, though. It's going to challenge the riders really on an all-around kind of basis, I think.
131 meters of climbing, but really the crux of this situation is going to be that reverse hilly KOM. Nathan, you're absolutely right. It's what you've done before that and after that, and of course, while you're in that situation there, it's the teams are seated on their time trial experience. We've got the women out there. I should say that didn't make any sense. Their team time trial result from race 8, to be specific, that was held out at Greatest London Flat. So that would explain it's not based on how the teams did yesterday. If you were with us, that was awesome. Some of the best racing I have ever seen. And now we set up this battle royale. Nathan, to be honest, with the women, it comes down to 2 teams. Turbo and Velocity Vixen are really going to be in a 2-team fight to move into the Premier League. We almost have isolated it down to that there. In the men's race, it's a little more wide open there. Some teams had definitive performances as well, but we've talked about the course a little bit, the teams to watch. This is it. The final day of racing for season 2 has come down to this. 3 teams, 3 men's teams, 3 women's teams will advance up into the Premier League. Right here, right now, it's all happening. You're down in the pen, I see, Nathan.
Yeah, we just wanted to jump down here real quickly and get an idea of what it looks like for a start of a TTT. We'll bring in where the standings are currently, but it has said go in the pens. If you haven't seen this before, at the start of a WTRL TTT, what happens is everybody has their start time given to them. The pens open up, there's a go, and they wait for their go. So we will be having our first seeded team, and that is going to be, the first team to head out on course, the bottom seed, which is going to be Velocity Vixen. They're going to be jumping out here. Whitaker taking to it. And looking at Troyer here, this is where it gets a little bit difficult, right, Dave? Making sure everybody gets off correctly with everybody intact.
We're going to have a unique feature today, thanks to Martin and the team at WTRL. We're going to get a check at 2K in. So this is already interesting, Nathan. You can see they're down to 4 riders, so there's no wiggle room out there. They are up against it here. And so now you see the stagger here. The other teams will wait for their start time, their setback time to arrive. And we will be looking at everyone out on course here shortly. So 4 different teams. Now, based on yesterday's result, the mighty Beast Mode team, Rose Beast Mode, was phenomenal, as was Abscae Finesse. Those 2 teams are in no danger of not advancing now, so they're just going to go out and look to have a solid team time trial ride to wrap up their season. But this is one of the teams, and now, Nathan, we're back here watching our next squad. That's going to be
Abscae Finesse are taking off next.
All right. They've got the full 6, it looks like. Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to be in with Catherine Monks. It looks like Baker's here. Freder is going to be there as well. Bishop, and then it's going to be Neiled here, taking over at
Paige
front
as well.
So, yeah. Looking through their nice little takeoff here. They do have 6 riders with them. That's going to give them an extra 2 rests comparatively to that Velocity Vixen team. Going to have a little bit more energy in the tank, and it's going to really come to their advantage, I think, out here today.
Yeah, I completely agree. 29 kilometers of racing out here on today's course, 131 meters of climbing. As we said, these are our final 2 teams to start now. Again, the seeding was based on their final team time trial in season 2 here. So this is going to be the purple jersey of Turbo.
Nice little takeoff. Look at the very organized here with this team. They didn't have so it's interesting watching the different tactics of the teams here, Dave, the way that they take off. Some teams, it's like full-on orange numbers, kick it and get to speed as quickly as possible, and anybody who's not able to really deal with it, well, live with it and get it back on wheels. With this team, it was much more of a medium-high paced rollout, 5-6 watts per kilogram quickly, and then all organized and start rolling well together.
Yeah, in all honesty, you don't want to have a team situation within the first minute where you're having riders that are having to live with it and deal with it. You know what I mean? You want to work together as a unit from the very first pedal stroke, or even before that, which clearly Turbo did very well. That one of the big stars from yesterday was Kolinkir, the Italian rider. Nathan, so Turbo, Emmy was outstanding, ending up second on the day. Helen McKay on that team as well. Leah Thorbalson, who we've talked about, Lynn Herrup Madsen, Sabrina Kurtel, and Gemma Felstead making up the Turbo team. So they have a lot of experience in WTRL's Thursday team time trial. Leah has been part of Socks for Watts and is a super talented rider. One rider, hopefully we look behind and
I think there was a little bit of a connection issue there for one of our riders as she was heading off to the left side of the. But did you see the avatar correct? So it was a little bit of a cyclocross moment. It looks like as the avatar
would have been in real life that would have been terrifying. Yeah.
100%. And so now we are back in. We have 6 riders here. It looks like. Hairless though, I have a feeling they're gonna just have to let her go as
That's
the avatar.
Yeah,
that is unfortunate to see here. We'll see if she can jump back on terms, but they're gonna be down a rider here from the get go. Beast mode. Now beast mode, maybe 4.7 here, and with this first section having a little bit of a bump here, waiting on this section is not ideal at all because so much time is gained through the climbing sections out on course.
Yeah. So first off, Sarah, sorry to see that Sarah Karoulis there, but remembering this team is in no danger of not advancing here. So they're playing with the house's money today, racing with 5. This is one of certainly when you see next year when they next season, April 6th, I believe we'll start racing the next Premier League. Season 3 will roll out. This team will be immediately in the thick of it when you talk about Rose Beast Mode. Seb there, who is the manager director of this team, has done a tremendous job. Is that Karoulis coming back? They are waiting for her. They're showing a lot of grace right now, and that is awesome, Nathan. It looks like Sarah's getting back in. So the team did wait, knowing that they don't have to panic out here. We should talk the details that the time is taken off of the 4th rider's wheel. We start with 6 here in the Community League. So good job by the Germans there. They waited for their colleague. Very impressive.
Very, very impressive. And I think it may actually end up paying off in the long run on this course. We'll have to wait and see how that plays
Certainly
out.
pays off if you're like Nathan in the mentality of the team. Sarah is going to feel a tremendous amount of respect. And one of the things as a part of a team at this level, you start looking at how the other riders treat each other, and that becomes the norm in the team. And when you treat each other well, then that becomes what you are expected to do, and that's just how we operate. That was a huge moment there, to be honest, for this beast mode team. By waiting for that rider, they personified what one for all for one is about. And in team time trialing, that makes a huge difference. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't times when leaving a rider would make sense. And if they were racing against a couple of strong teams for a spot in the Premier League, they've already clinched that. So they don't need to panic. I like their style, Nathan.
Looking at the course map in the lower left-hand corner, that is going to be the Magnificent 8, as you can see. The only section out on course that we have any real climbing is going to be that red section with the Zwift reverse King of the Mountain, Queen of the Mountain. As you can see, the section that the little dot is heading through is where this team is at right now. And that is going to be the volcano. And after leaving the volcano, they'll head on over toward the Italian village. A little bit of a climb through the dusty climb over by the Scotty Squirrel Fountain, and then the reverse KOM, Queen of the Mountain, QOM, Queen of the Mountain as well. And Fuego Flats will be interesting. I think the telltale, as well as how well a team will go, is also Fuego Flats, because that section definitely shows off how well a team is as a unit, as a well-oiled machine, whether or not they've really figured out their TTT when it comes to just trading poles, big power on the flats. I always love TTTs that involve that section of course, because you can really get into a rhythm. And looking through, it looks like we're gonna have
look for some splits from.
Oh, go ahead there, Dave. Sorry, I think you had.
I apologize. So taking a look here as we're in with what we're going back now to Emmy Kaling, who I mentioned yesterday. There was a 4-rider breakaway, and she certainly proved herself to be one of the best climbers. This is an all-star weekend of racing that we have, I guess, yesterday, Friday, but today we have a chance to look at the teams that have already proven themselves in their division. We have APAC, which is Asia Pacific. They start off the day of racing. Then we move to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, the East, and then the West. The women actually have one big Europe, Middle East, and Africa group that they race in, and then over to the Americas. So we took the top teams from all of those divisions, moved them into this battle royale that WTRL has created within the Zwift Racing League. And then today's team time trial, to be honest, has really come down to this battle between two teams. Only one advances. It's brutal when you think about how far we've come to. It's going to be this result. Who gets the better, Turbo or Velocity Vixen? So my heart goes out to all of those riders as they're going to be digging deeper than a lot of them I most likely ever have before. So taking a look at a tricky sector here, Nathan, tough to keep the teams together on gravel.
Yeah, you see Anna Rogers here pulling very, very hard at the front here. And I really do think this is going to be the leadership of Rogers, how well she can temper, how strong she is amongst the rest of the riders here, and whether or not she can really give them the wheel to rest on and then make their efforts come on through at the most important points out on course. As Rogers now backs off, goes into the middle of the pack here. As you do see Girth now taking over. Whitaker now as well, sitting in second wheel. On Tron Bike as the pick here, interesting enough. As it's a good all-arounder here, where you do see a couple of the other riders here jumping in with the Zips and the Venge. A little bit Canyon on the back there with Schroyer, it looks like, I believe. So it's going to be, again, Rogers taking over at the front, though. I do think she is going to be the juggernaut of this TTT for the Velocity Vixen team.
If they're going to get the result that they're looking for, she's going to have to ride with the strength of two, no doubt about it. And she certainly is up to the task. Again, this is the Canadian Anna Rogers. If you're looking on Zwift Power, you might wonder that Revo tag. It's all good, all on the up and up, as she's part of the Velocity Vixen team here. Jennifer Girth, Anna Rogers, Pamela Troyer, and Jessie Whitaker all taking the start today. So they're really missing some powerhouses on this squad. Alicia Stats would make a huge difference for them. Alicia is a healthcare worker, and I'm going to guess, just, in this day and age, just you can't take time off.
Go ahead and jump on over real quickly, everybody. We will be having a little bit of coverage as well across categories for the women's race here. We do have the B category race. This is going to be jumping on in with the TBR up at the front. They were the lowest seeded amongst the current standings. From the race number 8 in their TTT. They actually were seated that way. Waterhouse up toward the front. It's going to be Stoll Height as well as Margarita. And then Lucy and D Courage from the TBR Smilon. This was a really well-known team. I believe from the APAC region for the qualifications. Thompson, Lehman, Kelly as well from the ATP team about to head into their reverse Queen of the Mountain as well. Let's go ahead and I'll start bringing in some of the standings as well here, Dave. But ATP, it looks like making the chase about 10 seconds. It looks like they've made up on that front team with the TBR Smilon so far.
Yeah, so we talk about the promotion up into the Premier League, but as you can see, this goes all the way through the different levels of racing, and that has been the secret sauce of the success of WTRL, has been the thousands and thousands of riders, actually thousands of teams that have participated, and the camaraderie and that comes out of that has been amazing, and we're in with our Bs right now. Squad looking really good here at this point, just coming up on 7K in. Well organized.
Yeah, and this is going to be the current situation here for the B category now. It's going to be ATP Stingers at the top, and I believe that is who we're going to be looking at. There's no other ATP in here. So, yeah, ATP Racing Stingers currently leading this out to get their promotion. Audi Women are there as well with Sox Watts, SBR Cake. TBR Smilon, who are we're at the front end of the course, now taking on the first Queen of the Mountain, are sitting at 17, right on the cusp there for their promotion into the A category. Then it's going to be Cryogen Marie Blanque, and then Cryogen Mount Evans. So still quite a battle going on here. Lots can change on the day between all of them. And you know what's interesting is that I believe that Cryogen might have had a much better TTT than they had in their current standings from the points race. Because if we move backwards here and take a look through, I have a feeling that some of these riders here, definitely in this B category, have a lot more of a TTT effort. As you see, Sox Watts here, I think they were the best TTT team coming into this, but they're sitting third overall.
So I wonder if, Nathan, if you go back and take a look at Velocity Vixen, I'm sensing we might have a story developing there. It looks like the team might, and I'm going to have to lay some eyeballs on it. Nope. Okay, good. So I was looking at some data that told me something different. So that's them picking up Velocity Vixen here, 4 together. I was worried they were down to 3, to tell you the truth. So that's very good to see.
Waiting for our splits to come on through, everybody. As soon as we do grab them, we will be able to bring them on in. We'll be able to get you that 2K and the rest of the splits coming on through. See how the starts went for them. It does look like they are going to be catching, though, with Obscure Finesse. And Obscure Finesse, what a ride that they had yesterday. Amazing ride. The current standings here, it is going to be between these teams. Quite the battle still, but, really, Turbo versus Velocity Vixen is the story on the day, though, Dave. If we go ahead and bring in these standings, we can see that it is going to be this battle at the bottom here, Turbo versus Velocity Vixen, that we'll be looking at here in just a moment. But really, that is what the story is.
Yeah, and it's noteworthy then that there's obviously a very good chance that they tie out here today, because the same point structure will be given: 20 for the first place team, 19 for second. So you can see that likelihood is there. The result then will be based on who has the best ride today to advance up into the Premier League. So it's all on the line out here. It's extremely simple. What was interesting then is that we saw Project Beast Mode had a little bit of a tough start with a rider, Sarah, they're having to chase back into the team. They've gone through that process. And when we do take a look, so this was at 2K, and Beast Mode still had the fastest time by 5 seconds, Nathan. That is how good Rose Beast Mode is right now. That's super impressive. As then Abscae Finesse 5 seconds back, 2 seconds behind them is Turbo. And then it does not look like the Velocity Vixen are having the ride that they were looking to have today.
With only 4 riders showing up, it's going to be very, very difficult. And I have a feeling as this race goes on, the legs are only going to get more and more tired. I think that 2 more riders, it could have happened, I think. I really do. But, it's not over. The race is definitely not over. They have all of Fuego Flats to go. Anything can happen in racing. So staying out on course, making sure that they continue to hammer on. Absolute Finesse, they're going to be making the pass here. And really, today, when it comes to Obscure Finesse and Beast Mode, it's about pride. It's about getting across the line in first place and taking down this playoff championship between these 2 teams.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you really only race one mode when you're doing a team time trial, and that is to your best ability as a unit. So there's no laying back or riding at 90% out here for anyone. Project Beast Mode, they overcome that hiccup early. This is going to be very, very close. We got a lot to race for, no doubt about it. It's just unfortunate that Velocity Vixen does lose, because they lost a couple really strong riders that were unable to take the start out here today, I'm sure for various reasons. But we're back in now with Abscae Finesse. This is a super team, no doubt about it. I can't wait to see what they can do in Premier. Beast Mode and Abscae Finesse, who have already punched their ticket. Not only do they deserve it, they're going to bring a lot of flavor to Premier League for Season 3.
We'll go ahead and take a quick look here at also how things are playing out for the other categories here, with the B category and their times as well. It'll be great to be able to bring all this in across the broadcast and watch how it all plays out. I know a lot of the viewers out there are wondering in live time how their teams are going along as well. And we do see Sox Watts here pulling at the front. But with a third place currently with the 320. Now, there's quite the battle going on here, though, within this B category. Cryogen, as I said earlier, they may be at the bottom of the standings, but they've got the fastest time coming in at 2K. But 2K is just how you get going. The 12 kilometer mark is definitely going to be an answer as to whether or not they were consistent with it, but they got a really good start. And that, I mean, look, at 7 seconds is no joke to start off that well right off the bat here. So good on them. Cryogen Mount Evans, no time coming in. I wonder if they took to the line or perhaps a tagging issue. We'll have to wait and see if the data is just not coming through. But solid ride so far from them. Audi women, 7 seconds back. And then between that second to fifth, it's just on a razor's edge there, Dave.
And well, these times are really comparable. That 3:10 from Mary Blanc from Cryogen, that puts them right in the middle of the A's times out here. So they're punching above their weight out here. We're in with one of the most highly regarded and well-loved teams in the world, Socks for Watch, SBR Cake, rolling there 3 seconds behind the Audi women. And that's a great team coming out of the Pacific Northwest. That Seattle-based squad has got some serious momentum going right now as they had some fun battles. That was a lot of fun. It's great. This is all-star weekend. And we certainly, the Audi women, Nathan, were a team that really stood out to me. And part of that is because I got to watch them for 8 weeks of racing, and you become familiar with their class and fortitude. So, all right, that's the backside of the big feature on the course. If you look at it, it's really straight ahead. There's one climb, the reverse hilly KOM, which is very well known in the Zwift community. This is the OG world, as I heard Rasan Bahati calling it the other day on World of Zwift. He's absolutely right. And we're in now with our Bs here, and that was the Marie Blanc team from Cryogen that we were just looking at, that familiar white and blue.
Absolutely flying, it looks like, out here today. Very well organized team. You can see the speed in the avatars right now. 249 beats per minute here coming from Pyres. Looks like resting extremely well on that downhill. Everybody's getting, and that's one thing you do need to think about when you're in the middle of a TTT, is what are those sections that you can get a breather, because those little breathers, they're going to re-energize the legs, re-energize the body. And really, as you can see now, Pyres at 149 says, all right, I can take a pull through, heads to the front now, 3.3 watts per kilogram on this little bit of an uphill kick, and now comes right on through, taking that speed, 38 kilometers per hour. Looks like we're now going to take over coming from Ramirez out of Canada on a great selection of bike, in my opinion, here. That Venge with the 808. Not quite the 858 Super, doesn't have the color on the rear wheel. It's a couple extra drops in there. Look at the socks here, though. I don't even have those socks. Like, what? Those are some of the most amazing socks I've ever seen in Zwift with the ride on there. Looking good in this kit, man. And look at the helmets. They all, almost every one of them, have the TTT helmet on. They've got the socks going with the purple. This is a well-organized group here. You can see why they got the fastest time so far. At the 2K, though, Samilon coming through with a 1929. We'll see if that sticks at 12K.
Somewhere out there, Anna Rogers is smiling, and I'm sure
Anna
is
Russell?
already
Anna Russell.
Anna Russell. I'm sorry, is right? AR1 and AR2, right? So AR1, Anna Russell, our colleague in New Zealand, must have the story on those socks. My guess, Nathan, is that you would get those by doing like some kind of group ride, some special ride. I have no idea how you come up on those, but nice work.
I'm going to find out. I have to find out. I'm not like,
I'm surprised you don't know.
I want those socks now. Like, that's going to be my next goal is now the thing is that they may be like a special unlock, and then I'm just like, well, now what do I do here? They might have been like a special group ride or something that's like you can't get them unless you were there for it. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But we'll jump on over to the C and D category in just a moment here. Let's jump back in with the A's and see how things are playing out with them. For the women's side of things, it does look like Absolute Finesse are absolutely flying out here today. And we'll start to get some times coming in for the rest of this crew. It does look like Beast Mode, though. Oh, my goodness. They are walking away with this one. And this is what we were talking about watching yesterday. When we saw at least Hog and the rest of the crew come through, all within a top 5 to top 10s. And the way that Hog walked away, I said, watch out, Heino. Watch out, Sergeant Prost. I mean, watch out at that top level. I think that they really are primed for the Premier Division, and this is the team to watch out for when they get there.
So Hino, who have run the table 2 seasons in a row, Nathan, I can just already feel the excitement around this team. We might have found the challenger for the throne, as there is no doubt that Hino have been the platinum standard of racing in the ZRL. They have been so impressive, and we've been waiting for that team. So Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, has come up another level, and they look like they're going to be ready to challenge and make season 3 even more exciting on the women's side of things. And I am so stoked to see what Project Beast Mode is going to, or Rose Beast Mode is going to be able to do. This team is quality through and through. They don't miss a step. They've got a fantastic director. They race with absolute panache, is a perfect way to put it. And this is good stuff. No doubt about it. So they're right at the midway point right now. It's 29K of racing out here. You are looking at a unit. They've got gold medals in their DNA when you talk about Beast. Remember the excitement, Nathan, when this team showed up? It's a triathlete-based team out of Germany. And there was a nice discussion about, wow, this ought to be interesting to watch. Well, they have backed up all of that initial hype and are now ready to go next level.
Next level. Speaking of next level, the men's race is going to be starting in about 15 minutes, just so everybody knows. We'll get through the women's racing and some of their results, how things are playing out. Stick around through the end of the broadcast, though, in order to get all of the results, because as we do have to jump around right up against a lot of the racing, we'll make sure to check in with the men as they do take off, see how they get out of the pens, how each one of the teams really handle that. And then we'll also be sticking in with a lot of these splits. For the women, we will be jumping in with the C's and the D's in just a moment to give you guys an idea of where the splits are with them as well.
I've heard some discussion, Nathan, about Team Next, and they are seeded 6th, I believe, and that's based, again, on how they rode out at Greatest London Flat. They have not put an emphasis during Season 2 into team time trialing. Today, they're going to need to, but there is a metric here that you have to look at and consider, factor in, and that is that Ashton Lambie is on that team. Ashton is one of the best team pursuit riders. Team pursuit is a team time trial on the velodrome. It's 4 kilometers long, but he's been doing that with young American riders for many years now. If you ever, there is no greater expert. This is beyond masterclass to be racing with Ashton Lambie. So I'm going to expect Next to put it all together, and everything will change out there today. They're starting right in the middle of our field. My anticipation is they catch and pass 4 teams today. 4.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out here. I mean, they are starting, I think, lower down on the seating, so they're going to be going toward the top end of the day, right? And we'll have to see how it plays out because, as we said, well, did we explain the tiebreaker, Dave? I'm not sure we explained the tiebreaker situation.
Sure.
So, with the men's field especially, everything's within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points even for those top 3. And it all comes down to the strongest team today, right? So women's field, men's field, it comes down to whoever has the best result today in a team time trial, if it comes down to a tiebreaker. Because this shows who's the best team altogether. The team time trial is such a huge part of racing in the Premier Division as well. It really is a decider in a lot of ways. I absolutely love the way that this is organized because of that.
Underline that, put an exclamation point after it. That's exactly right and perfectly clear. The top 3 teams based on points, and there's a very good likelihood that we'll have teams tied on points. And then, as Nathan said, it's simply who had the better ride, the faster time out here today. So it's we're jumping in now with the C's. Thank you, Nathan, for taking the time to look. These are the the heart and soul of the ZRL. Herd of Otters. There's 3 different, I believe, otter teams that we have in one division. The Herd of Otters won super job out here, a 1918. That's 12 seconds quicker than the Aeonian Chicas. I love what Aeonian has done as well. Nathan, it's always interesting when you say, how do you get on a team? How do you start a team? Well, I would love to point you to that Aeonian model. You find some friends, you start small, you start building, you get some momentum, and next thing you know, you're one of the best teams in the Premier League, and you've got feeder teams for days. 1930, their time, second fastest there. It looks like, I'm going to guess Z Sunrays were unable to take the start today because it's ATP Racing Hive coming through with a 1956 in our women's C's. These teams now look like they're pretty set for the second half of the race here.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get an idea of what's happening, especially with the ATP Racing Hive. I believe that is going to be the team of Ashley Cameron, if I'm not incorrect. Yesterday, she had a solid ride, it looked like, with a win out there. We're going to keep an eye on it here and see how it ends up playing out. But there are a couple of herd teams out here, it looks like, in and amongst us as well. I think some of our live data coming through here is missing a couple of the teams out there. So we're going to wait on that. I know a lot of people are wondering what's happening with the current splits out there. As soon as we do get that all nice and fixed up, we will let you know and bring this through. But it does look like Rhea Fallon and the rest of this team at the front here with Barr now pulling on through. Solid 40 kilometers per hour. McCarter here now taking over for, this has got to be an Aeonian team. I would assume this is usually the kit that they are using out on course. And then it's going to be ATP making the chase with Townsend Pitts. It's going to be as well as mediocre Zwifter. Loving the names.
Sherry Birdie Townsend runs the North Star Development Program. Elijah Beatty, that Marion rider that we were talking about, or Kelly Catlin, who unfortunately we lost a couple of years ago, who was part of the team pursuit squad that won an Olympic silver medal with Chloe Dygert. Well, Sherry Birdie Townsend and her husband Charlie Townsend run an incredible program in your neck of the woods in the United States, just a little north of you, or maybe even west of you in Minnesota. But she is, in the USA cycling community, one of the people that gets juniors involved, has a great attitude, is an absolute bright light. Great to see her out here racing. Nathan, I have an answer for you on the socks, and it's not good news for you or me.
It was a special event, or it's a women's only sock.
Pride rides from last summer.
Gotcha.
Thank you,
from
Marion.
Last summer.
Yep.
Got it.
Marion Hambrick letting me know, or us know, those purple socks are from last summer's Pride rides. So you'll get another opportunity.
By far, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, if only you could travel back in time, do the ride.
We'll have to wait till this summer to unlock those. We'll have to wait until this summer to unlock.
Does Sherry have them as well? Sherry Birdie Townsend
looks like
here?
They're pretty. It looks like they're pretty popular across the board right now. So. Things are heating up out on Flago Flats. I don't know if I always love to see, but the way that Zwift has done this rising steam in the background, or you know what I mean? The way that a desert can be so hot that you just have some sort of liquid is somehow coming out of the, or maybe just from the
mirages
that are happening off in the distance, right? And so I'm loving the in the background there. It gives the feeling of the heat that's coming off your body, at least when you're trying to participate in a TTT like this. As we wait for the data to come through, we do have a couple of hiccups here on the data for these other categories. We'll jump back in with the A category, as it does have some good live data coming on in. We'll get an idea of how things are playing out here. This is Project Beast Mode, starting to catch almost every team out on course. What would be amazing is if they did catch like most of the teams. They are looking to catch Turbo here. They are 16 seconds up, it looks like, but Vixen now being caught, it looks like, by Turbo, and that's a good sign for Turbo, as this is the team that they had to be most worried about.
This actually answers all of their questions, right? Making this catch now, you know that you've got 10K left to just ride at tempo, and you're going to be in the Premier League. So it's a big moment here for this team. And Velocity Vixen will be back racing out of the West in the U.S. They have a tremendous amount of spirit, and that team won't be hanging their heads at all. no problemo. And that, for some of the teams, Nathan, the level that they're racing at in the community league is just right for them. And some of the teams have big ambitions. Here's a rider that I expect to be on the top of the podium. Uh, as we take a look at the Italian Coling, who was in the breakaway and rode to a silver medal yesterday.
Yeah, and that was an amazing ride there by Emmy Kling, trying to battle with another rider that we've talked about, Alicia Haag, to the line. It really went to show who we need to be watching out for in the Premier Division. The names that will be really the all-stars when it comes down to the points racing to try and take down as many points as they can to try and challenge those top teams in the Premier Division. Kling also, though, because of her high watts per kilogram, does add a lot as well to a TT format like this, as watts per kilogram are well rewarded in the world of Zwift. So it does look like, taking over at 5.7 here, 44 kilometers per hour currently on the flat. Very solid effort. It's going to be nice to see Team Turbo with their kit in the Premier Division on the women's side of things. Absolutely awesome with this qualification. It looks like they still got to get across the finish line, but it looks like this is going to be playing out in Turbo's favor. Thorvaldsen, I know, and the rest have been really after this all season long. Now, Vixen, though, season 3's announced. Look forward to April because, they obviously made it this far. A restart, you know what I mean? Go at it again. It's the opportunity's back on the table once season 3 really kicks in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this team right now even has a safety as they have an extra rider here in case something goes wrong. So things looking pretty good out there and well-deserved for Turbo. Nathan, I think that Leah Thorvaldsen, for anybody who's just picking up on esports, was one of the, I would say, athletes that helped popularize Zwift. She was the winner of the first Zwift Academy. Kate Verano runs that program and does a tremendous job of providing opportunity and access and a super fun community of women racers that come together. And ultimately, we just had a Zwift Academy that wrapped up. Seems like a few weeks ago. It's probably a couple of months ago with so much happening in the world of Zwift out here but Leah was the first ever winner of the Zwift Academy and has really made the most of that. We're jumping in now this is Abscape Finesse, and they're the first team through that 22K checkpoint, still expecting to see Project Beast Mode with the fastest time when they come through, which won't be long here as they're working on getting a minute advantage on Abscape Finesse out here. But again, these teams are really now they're already racing in season 3. Nathan, they're doing work preparing for season 3 now as they're guaranteed that they've punched their tickets.
They're going so fast. They're like gone into
right.
88
faster than time
miles per hour here. Doc has showed up, put them into the future. We're into season 3 with them already. Episode 3. Here we go as they're going so fast.
I hope
this
they
is a
paid
team
their
that I really
April
have
rent.
On my radar.
Yeah.
They really, I have, right? I have, this is a team on my radar for sure. I'm loving the way in which they've taken the motivation. They jumped into season 2 as a newer team. They had so much hype. You could see it in their social media posts, the camaraderie amongst them. And, and then they launched the new branding right toward the end here in order, to really have their identification as their own women's team, Abscape Finesse. And I'm absolutely loving this here. Catherine Monks, Daniel Baker, Christine Yield is there, Paige Bolt, Sarah Bishop, hammering away out here, and great job on them. Now, the battle, as they go up into the Premier Division, there's also, you're looking around at your competition that are in this qualifier, and then you get, it's like you head into, it's going to high school, going to college. The next, everybody that came with you from your school, and then, there's a whole new realm here of competition that we have to deal with, a whole new realm of people to sit amongst. And figuring out where they sit amongst Turbo, where they sit amongst Beast Mode, and now they got to think about where they sit amongst all those top teams in Premier Division as well. But I think for this team, there's a word potential. That I don't know if this Obscure Finesse team has realized their full potential with how new they are and the way that they've come together. I have a feeling that there's a lot more that can come out of this team. I mean, obviously they're qualifying and it's great. And I think they're kind of the second seed coming out of this qualifier compared to Beast Mode. But I think that there's potential to really up their game into that Premier Division.
I completely agree, and they've got so much to work with. I mean, two riders that are in that top 10 strongest riders in the Premier League. As soon as they show up, I would think with Catherine Monks and Tara Freder. So let's go ahead. I want to make sure, Nathan, as we're coming into the finale of what has been an absolutely phenomenal season too. So this team, so formerly the Finesse Rockets, they changed their name about 2/3 of the way through the season. Abscape Finesse. This is Danielle Baker. I just mentioned Catherine Monks, Christy Neild, who's been awesome, Paige Bolt, who rode in the breakaway to a 4th place yesterday, Sarah Bishop, and Tara Cole Freder, making up the team that we have. That was the 6 that started here. These are the 5. Danielle Baker is the rider that we're in with right now that are going to make it looks like, to the finish line. They've got about 3K to go right now. So great season. They punched their ticket. We'll see them on April 6th as they'll make their debut performance in the Premier League. I'd love to be able to do the same for Rose Beast Mode. Get a shout out to all of the women that have made up that team here as well. We'll have plenty of time to do that as they're going to be a few minutes away from wrapping up their season. Alicia Haag on that Project Beast Mode, going now by Rose Beast Mode. All Germans on the team.
Now
And
look
Haag,
at this.
Oh, thanks, Nathan.
Turbo are having an amazing ride, though. They're gonna make me eat my words a little bit. And 31:36 on the back half.
They've passed. Yeah, that's huge.
3:08, 17:50, and then on the back half, they've shown their quality, their experience with Turbo. Coming in with the 31:36. It could go back the other way if Obscure Finesse really kick it in. But what a battle here now between these two teams. Loving this.
Yeah, and that's cool. It really is. So it just showing you that they deserve that 3rd spot. Helen McKay, another superstar, along with Leah Thorbalson, who have tremendous Socks for Watts experience. They're team time trial experts. Emmy, who we mentioned, Emmy Kolink, the Italian, Lene Herup Madsen from Denmark, and Sabrina Kurtel making up this team. Sabrina from France, and a very international team. Turbo, this was impressive. You're right, Nathan, because Abscape Finesse does not mess around. That team is no joke. This is a big ride from Turbo. So I love that. I really do. They went out with a bang talking about Turbo here today. And this is it. They look like they're now going to be moving up into the Premier League. Congratulations, ladies.
We're going to go ahead and jump on over to the men's start here just to get an idea of how each of them do take off. We'll jump back in with the women here in just a moment to get some of their finishes. The women still have about 2K to go to their finish. It looks like it is. Is this going to be next? They're going to be the first to go? No, Birdie's just warming up. So you will see. I am getting a little bit nervous watching some of these. And they are going to be taken off here, it looks like, first. So you are right. The lowest seed. No, they're the lowest seed. They had a horrible TTT, actually.
That's going to make it impossible for them to catch anybody. So I had them starting
That's a really good point, actually. Now look off the back just a little bit, and this is Lambie, actually. Not getting the best start. He's going to get back on turns pretty quickly, though. Not at all. 55 kilometers per hour, right on turns. So,
yeah, you're looking at literally the best rider in the world, a world record holder in the pursuit. So he's going to get the guys all, throw out his lasso, get everybody organized here, and we'll see what they can do. Again, bold prediction. So much talent on this team. They have not put up a result that's noteworthy. As a matter of fact, it's been the exact opposite of that. But Nathan, I think that has been more of a lack of a reason to. And they've been waiting to make their mark. I'm expecting it to be today, and I'll be willing to eat my words if I'm wrong, but I'm expecting something sensational here. They were so good yesterday. So many talented riders. You mentioned Chris Uberti. He's one of, Duffy Jr. has been
Nate Taylor right off the bat here. This is, man, things are on the edge. So, I know they dominated yesterday. They are the top team with 20 points. But there's a lot of really good TTT teams out here. So this is risky stuff. It really is.
And recognizing, right, that Ashton Lambie is one of the best team time trialists in the history of the world in real life. I just think that's such a factor here.
Go ahead and jump on in with the women here real quickly, as I definitely want to catch their finishes. This is a huge moment for them, and we don't want to downplay at all. We want to definitely celebrate the awesome qualifications that are taking place here. We were just watching GFTBE, the Belgian team, taking off. And as they get out on course, we'll see how they end up playing out. But Obscure Finesse here finishing out and getting their qualification into the Premier Division.
Yeah, so let's give a big shout out to Sarah Bishop here, Paige Bolt, Catherine Monks, and Tara Freder, and Danielle Baker, the other rider on the team, just behind them. So they're going to stop the clock here and move into the Premier League. Congratulations, ladies.
Jumping back with Turbo as well as they finish up theirs, and a big congratulations to them as well, as it's going to be Kling McKay, Hirp Madsen, Leah Thorvalson with their competitors they're going to have to be watching out for in the Premier Division. It's almost kind of like looking forward here. We do see Lisa Haag at 5.255 trying to chase things down, but they're going to hold them off, it looks like, here with also 6 watts per kilogram toward the front. So Turbo and Beast Mode across the line.
Yeah, so Emmy Kling, Helen McKay, Leah Thorvalson, Lena Hedap Madsen, Sabrina Kirtle, along with Gemma Felstead. That congratulations going out to the women in purple, punching their ticket. We'll see you April 6th in the Premier League. Well done. And then here's the team. These are the women of the hour. No doubt about it. The queens of team time trialing. What a season. Congratulations, Cindy Friebel, Alicia Haag, Josephine Nook, Julie Chalot, and Maria Marb, along with Sarah Karoulis, who came back from that tough start to ride with the team. That's Rose Beast Mode. That's the platinum standard here in the Zwift Racing League as they wrap up an incredible season and will advance with style into the Premier League.
Nice job to all of them. And nice job to Velocity Vixen as they come across the line as well, getting into the playoffs. And I have a feeling they're going to be back and hammering away in season 3, looking to try and get another qualification, as they definitely have the quality to do so. Looking here, we did see the start here for the Oh My God, They Killed Kenny. It was super broken up, actually. Alaniziak was off the front, I believe, with Grainer, and they actually dropped their entirety team right from the get-go. There was only two riders up front, so we'll see how the organization plays out. And over that 2 kilometer mark, now looking here, there's going to be Morgan and Lindsay all together. This looks Deepak look like they've shown up to race. That's for sure. Look at the ordering immediately, getting right into the dominoes here. And this is how it needs to go. Wow. You know, very well put together here, coming from Deepak Elite. Now ATP, you can see, is this going to be ATP? Usually the kit here that is being used, the in-game kits, though, not always the same across the board. We'll get an idea here in just a moment.
All right. Well, we'll have a chance to. We do still, again, we've got a lot going on out there as our A women have finished. We're jumping in with the A men. The same set of standards apply here, as the course is going to be 32.7K of racing. This is the seeding was based on how they rode in race 8 of the team time trial. That was out at the Greatest London Flat. The big feature is that reverse hilly KOM. It comes up right in the middle part of, well, even the early middle part of the course, about 7.5K in. So we'll get a good look at all of the teams as they make their way out onto course. We're going to be looking again for those same checkpoints out there. A 2K check will be the first time, and that's a really good look at that really speaks to experience for teams, how quickly they're able to get organized and up to speed.
ATP Racing Hydrogen is who we're looking at here. Ken Ray Schaefer, it looks like. Cam is there. Nathan Laranza. Zwart is out here, and that is going to be the makeup of the team. Now, next out on course, we are going to be having, it looks like, I believe, a OVB, if I'm not incorrect, is the next team hammering out. I'm just going to make sure I don't get these incorrect, though, as there's a lot of teams in here. And, yeah, it is going to be OVB. TJ Key, James Worley, Harvey, Slater. It's going to be Alex Pritchard, all riding for that team as they take off out on course.
Yeah, the other team that has an extensive number of British riders or out of the United Kingdom would be that Tour 2000 Callis team.
And the Plastic Cockneys.
And the
Didn't
plastic
want
cockneys.
to
Yep. Yep.
watch out
Don't
for that.
sell them
Nothing but
short.
look at
On,
nothing but UK flags on the right hand side here right now. It's like they all seated themselves directly off of country here at this point. As now at the front, it is going to be Jenkins, Hart, Hitches there, Peck, and Wiley. Parent fell off just a little bit here from the plastic cockneys. Gets to get back on terms here. And this is what we were talking about. Watching these starts has been very interesting to see how they end up playing this. As you do see Verheil taking off very quickly. Offerman's off the back just a little bit. And then it's going to be Van Ellis. Tugels, the juggernaut, I think, of this team. See what kind of pulls he's taking on through. Is at BZR. Definitely a team that we've felt have been a shoe-in, but they've got a battle on their hands with Next out there, at least for the standings as it comes in out of the points race.
Leonard was in a solo breakaway yesterday. So to bring everyone up to speed, if you're just joining us, this team time trial is the decider for the 3 teams out of all of our world group of divisions. This all-star race that we have is going to be significant. The odds are very good that we have teams tied on points out here today. And if that happens, the first and only countback is your result that you had today will be the determiner. So this was yesterday, and it was so I mentioned that Leonard Tugels, the Belgian, went in a breakaway, and it had all kinds of potential, but ultimately it did come back together. And next, Chris Uberti was phenomenal, gathering up points along the way and all of our bonuses, and that helped. But I mean, they just didn't miss a step. So next, with 20 points, Belgian Zwift. So that's the team we're just with Leonard Tugels there, BCR. They have 19 for that second. And then Beast Mode Crew, the men's edition, 18 points with their 3rd place. So we're back at it today. Same points table will be applied. Again, you understand that our tiebreaker is based on today's result. If that situation occurs, top 3 teams being promoted into Premier League for season 3 that begins on April 3rd.
As we do look at Beast Mode here, they're currently sitting at 18 points coming into the race here, so they are in a spot to qualify. Fusion ECT right on their heels. Now, the interesting thing here with this as well is as we watch the teams take off, watch and see where the seating is amongst these riders, because it will give you an idea of who the better TTT riders are. And looking at having Revel from Tour 2K Callus, they're currently with 15 points. They're, according to this seeding, they are a better team time trial team, though, comparatively to Beast Mode Crew. So, looking at these, because these were all seeded across, think about this as well. This is across regions, right? So,
they all raced on the same course at different times.
At different times. So, this is comparing the times across the regions and then seeding them comparatively that way. So, 2K Callus, they seem to be the better TTT team, which says they may be able to jump up here. This is going to be some hot racing. I mean, this is going to be neck and neck, I think, for those top 3. Nothing is decided at all yet on course right now.
That's an extremely good point, Nathan, talking about Callus. Now, I think it's really bizarre, to tell you the truth, that Next, who was our best team yesterday, had the start for the worst team in the team time trial based on seeding going back to last Tuesday's team time trial. So that's pretty bizarre that that this scenario occurs, talking about covering both ends of the spectrum. But we're expecting, or I at least am expecting, a certainly much better than bottom of the barrel ride from Next today. I expect them to be well inside the top 3 out here, but we'll let them prove it. That's what's so fun about this. So that gives you a good look at the point standings from yesterday.
Skylab coming so through much here. On the Fitzpatrick line right now, 13, 8th place from the point structure, but they have monsters on this team when it just comes to sitting down and hammering huge numbers. Caleb Carl, I ride TTTs with this guy. I mean, the reality of the kind of power this guy can throw down for long periods of time. Yeah, may struggle in a points race type situation here, but man, he actually fell off the back here, and that is going to be a huge loss for them. They need to just let him go. Interesting enough here, maybe had some sort of an issue from the get-go. They cannot let those seconds he's gonna. Oh, can he get back on terms? Carl at 6 watts per kilogram. Fitzpatrick going back for him. They may be able to murk this out, but they can't slow down at the front. And it looks like Carl may be able to make this happen here. He's almost back on terms. Fitzpatrick's going to give him a wheel. That is so crucial over the reality of this course. They did make it happen, and that is going to be a huge amount of power at the front end and rest for the rest of the team. And they didn't even really wait up, it looks like. They held a solid kilometers per hour all the way through, 48, 49. That's not going slow, that's for sure.
Not many riders could pull that off. Caleb Carl, who has an amazing capacity for pain, and certainly one of the most impressive riders that we've seen out here in season 2. As that was Skylab that we were with.
Now we're in with Fusion ECT, and here, Dave, 4th place, right? But one of the fastest teams, because look at where they're starting. Are they the top seed, actually? I'm wondering if there's anybody else left to go here. If they are the top seed and they're in 4th currently right on that edge of not being able to make the Premier Division, top 3 out of the 14 teams, that says a lot actually to their ability to take down those teams ahead of them at this point. I would be shaking in my boots with the reality of Fusion being one of the fastest teams out here right now, because where they're starting, all I'd be thinking about right now is we have to demolish Fusion if I were one of those teams up front here. And as we see here to the front, Heavy at 6.98 watts per kilogram, 50 kilometers per hour, they are already flying, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, so there is no team that is safe or that is guaranteed to advance here. I mean, Next needs to have a good ride. Just because they were awesome yesterday, that doesn't punch your ticket for today. And this is one of the teams to watch closely here. It'll be really interesting when we start seeing these splits, and you're going to realize there's so many things that can happen here with the way that this points table plays out. It's nice that it's really clear, very clean when you look at our tiebreaker here, as it'll be based on today's ride. What a mix of equipment on this team. Couple concept bike, couple Tron bikes, couple disc wheels. They got it all. They cleaned out the garage.
It's interesting, the picks here. And this is the kind of team that I would think kind of
would be unified on their bike.
No, they can just pick whatever they want. So there's obviously discrepancy between what the riders think that they need on the day, because they're going to have the kind of depth, I would think, of levels that can just get whatever they want from the garage. So that's really
a good example of something in real life that would never happen, right? At a professional level, because you'd be sponsored with equipment, and you don't make a choice when you're a rider on a team. That would be happening from your federation or from your director. You don't get to choose which bike you want to use today.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. I wonder if any of the directors get intense about that here. Now, did you see that rough start from Oh My God, They Killed Kenny? 254, DFTBE 251. Next at 250. Oh man, they are. Now that's a 2K mark, though. No, but look.
Yes, a lot can change. They're 10 seconds back at 2K. Right,
that's 10 seconds.
And actually, if you look at it, to 3rd place, they're only 3 seconds. So it could be worse, not ideal. And this is why we've got them out there racing for 29K. It wouldn't be fair if we took the time at 3K for deciding this. That's for sure. Got to give a team a chance to find their rhythm out here. But that's certainly eye-opening. Speaks to experience. And, maybe I put too much weight on Ashton Lambie's in real life team pursuit. You can be the best at the world at something in real life and not have that translate into esports. We've seen that time and time again. So, there's no doubt that with what you do on Thursdays, WTRL, and that spoke to, Nathan, going back to the women's race, a lot of Turbo's success, Helen McKay, Leah Thorvaldsen, those are 2 riders that are regulars on Thursdays. They do WTRL all the time. So let's see if they're picking up some speed. This next check is going to tell us so much, Nathan, because that is after the feature here, where most of those 131 meters are climbing throughout this 29K of racing out here come at you. They're over that point. So that 12K check, they were the first team out on course. This is going to be interesting to see how the other teams start comparing to the benchmark time that they're going to put up.
15-16 over 12K here for next level, and that is with a
with the climb.
significant climb in there.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely flying
If
here.
it was
And look at
flat, that
Lambie,
would be good.
7 watts per kilogram on the front from Lambie right now.
Here we go. Rocket ship on the front.
189 beats per minute. Absolute
fuel.
sacrificing happening right now, about halfway through, and this is going to be. This is the section too, of course. This is the section, of course, here too, where the speeds need to be insanely high. I would be aiming for 50 to 52 kilometers per hour through these sections.
Okay, we've already watched him on the front of this group. He was there when we showed up. He's been there now for 30 seconds. He has brought it from 49 to 50. This is now a 1% grade. That's why you see it fading just a little bit there. So that was what a monster does. Ashton Lambie coming off the front, and now it's going to be Brian Duffy Jr. This team is going from strength to strength right now. They brought it back up to 50. You can see now it's a little bit of a downhill grade. This is where you want to build up that momentum. All right, next is Enfuego right now. This is the next team that I was looking for, Nathan. Now they're back and in full effect and looking to ride their way into the Premier League. Nobody wants it more than these guys.
And look at now we're gonna have to see how what'll be really interesting is watching that 2K to 12K and watching how it all changes, right? Really good start. Yeah, awesome. But if it sacrifices anything over that next 10 kilometers because you went way too far into the red, or if you had some disorganization up front, it really gives you an idea of how important these starts are. We watched a lot of them get off onto course here, and we saw that there was some a little bit of disorganization in a couple of the teams. We saw some of the teams with some separations. We'll see how that impacts things if anybody went too far into those matches being burned early on.
They were going 53K per hour there with that was an unbelievable pull from Chris Uberti. Those 10 seconds, that's ancient history now. They are clocking teams at this point.
Look at the difference.
Nathan.
Look at the difference. 250, 251, now 1605 here. That's a
listen. Telling you, this is what I was talking about at the start of the show. If these guys could get it put together, they have the horsepower. They just needed to work a little bit on the finesse. They've got that nailed. This team is synced up. They're locked and loaded. I can't see how you beat these guys today. First team out on course. Now the Czechs that come a little bit later, talking about Fusion. Oh my God, they killed Kenny Callis. It'll be interesting. Deepak as well. Going to be very, very interesting. BZR, I have to think along with Beast Mode Crew. These are the two big danger teams here. But again, you don't need to win this race if you're Beast Mode. You just need to be respectable riding up. I mean, a top 3 finish guarantees you. A top 5 finish guarantees you, actually. So they've got to, they have some wiggle room. They're back on it now.
Now, a team to be watching out for as well, though, is going to be Deepak Leak. And we're going to go back and forth between these two tables over and over again, because this is going to tell us a lot, right? Deepak Elite currently with 16 points. They're on the bubble, right? They're right on that bubble. 16 points, 5th place. 3rd gets you in out of these top teams out here. We see them coming in with this 1530, currently sitting in 2nd place overall. That would most likely jump them. Well, that would jump them into a qualifying position if they can hold on to a time across the finish line for that 2nd place. So, well, depending on where a couple of other teams finish, though, too. I mean, it's going to be, there's a lot of math going on here. A lot of variables, because if other teams that are, below them end up in 1st place, if other teams, if Fusion ECT gets a 1st place, that steals points, right? So, coming on through here, oh my God, they kill Kenny way off the pace here, it looks like. It's 1638. Going to have to ramp some things up to have anything within that top maybe even 10 or top 5 here at a 1638. It's kind of out of the question here at this point, as we are also looking at GFTBE, who has a better time, though. Then, oh my God, they kill Kenny, but at 45 kilometers per hour, as you can see here, the speed difference is obvious, as you can see, between those top level teams here. As we jump in with Deepak Elite, who currently have the 2nd best time out there and are in 5th place overall coming into the day.
At this point, Nathan, it was 53 kilometers per hour for next when they came through this sector. Now you can see they're bringing it up to that speed, taking advantage of that little bit of a dip, a little downhill you have. Yeah, they're motoring here. but we're starting to get a feel for what the top teams are doing because Deepak Elite is going to come in 14 seconds in arrears of next level. So sitting at a 15:16, that's your benchmark time. That's not quite halfway through. They're going to be coming up on the 22K check very quickly. Talking about next, ATP Racing Hydrogen in at 16 flat, 5 seconds behind them is GFTBE, and then a 16:38 for Oh My God, They Killed Kenny. We're whittling it down, coming to the midpoint of the course. 29K of racing here today.
29K
29.
racing. We're in with Deepak Elite. Go ahead there, Dave.
No, you're absolutely right. I was just saying that I'm really interested to see now what Fusion is going to put together here.
We'll have to wait a little while on Fusion as they were the last ones to go, but the top ranked seed, so the fastest of the fastest. And again, that will be a story on the day because Fusion are in 4th place overall. They are battling directly with Deepak Elite, actually. Directly with them right now.
Right. I would call them these are the bubble teams out here. The teams that did a good but not great job yesterday that need to really just redouble that effort. As you take a look at how it scored yesterday, again, only 3 teams advance. In case of a tie, we use today's result as our first and only tiebreaker. All right, more teams coming through. That 15:16 remains the quickest. It looks like, who did we just add there? ATP Racing Hydrogen.
Plastic Cockneys
there you go.
And ATP Racing Hydrogen. Now, it is going to be with Deepak Elite. This is going to be Ben McKee. It's going to be David Pacheco. Ed Morgan is out here. Matteo Campagnoni. And then Sam Lindsay and Steve Fruminger. That is going to be the team that is absolutely flying out here. 2nd place currently with the Plastic Cockneys right on their heels, actually. As I believe, did they overtake Oh My God, They Killed Kenny? I believe they may have as they finish out their rest of their course here. It's going to be Zwart here from ATP Racing Hydrogen, currently in 4th place overall. That's going to be a solid result for them, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to bring them anywhere near the top spot as they are not in the top 10 for the points out here. They are going to have a good TT, and it may bring them into the top 10 when it comes to the points. And maybe even, the thing about a ride like this from ATP Racing Hydrogen, it might steal some points from one of the top teams. Oh my goodness, look at BZR. 15:04.
Boy, so it's going to be close because you have to think at the 22K check, Nathan, it could be tied between those two teams. And they were 1st and 2nd yesterday as well. So just a reverse of that, yesterday's 2nd place team is on top with a 15:04. Oh my, BZR absolutely killing it. Sports Solid Esports Team Red in full effect. So if they can beat next level, they're going to feel really, really good about their promotion up into the Premier League. Deepak Elite with a strong 15:30, and we're updating with Beast Mode Crew 1 second quicker at 12K. To be fair, Nathan, the next time we look at our friends from Next Level, they're probably just about to 22K already.
Next Level, Beast Mode Crew, BZR, our top 3 teams from yesterday, showing that they know how to TTT regardless of their race number 8 seeding position, because at this point, they're all in the top 3 by, it looks like, 10 seconds, or maybe 11 seconds here, 12 seconds between them. Next, Beast Mode, BZR. Has it already been decided? No, we still got half a race to go between a lot of these teams. And Fusion ECT are right on the cusp of being able to make it. They were the top seeded team coming in for the TTT. They got to beat one of these teams on time, though. That's going to be the question at that next marker.
It's looking entirely possible that our top 3 teams are going to make the math really easy for us, which I was not expecting. But if BZR, Beast Mode, and Next Level hold on like this, it makes it simple. There's no other team that can crack the code to beat them here. Now, Deepak Elite, Plastic Cockneys, they're going to be going for it. There's no doubt about it. I still stand by. I mean, Nathan, it takes a special team to be in a situation where you can have the lowest seed be the first team out on course and have a chance to win the race. That's almost unheard of. It speaks to a special set of circumstances that have occurred here with the Zwift Racing League as Next Level. This isn't punching above their weight because we talked about in real life experience. And this is going to be one of the few times that you can get away with not having done your work in the WTRL, but your in real life experience is so next level that you're able living up to that team's name. No doubt about it. But BZR, the fastest time. We're going to start looking at checks, though. Won't be that long until we see what's happening at 22K, and that's only 7K from the finish. This is Plastic Cockneys. We're in with Hart right now. They've got the whole team together. Looks like he's going to come off the front, and the team in a nice tight rotation here. Poetry in motion.
Yeah, Hart, actually, that was really well done. Usually a rider who goes to the back is
little
off
gap,
just a little
right?
bit and then jumps back
Yeah.
up. That was like just
That's
slotted
perfect.
right in. Like it was no problem whatsoever.
10 out of
7.2
10
on the front. Look at this.
Yeah.
7.2 on the front. These numbers on the front, when you the kind of numbers you have to pull with amongst this crew are just absolutely insane. The interesting thing to me here was that I think they really set up well to know that the rider is going to be able to really handle their effort just fine, because that was less than a 30-second effort. So I think each rider is in live communication. That's really the dynamics of a team, and knowing what to do and how to do it for each and every one of the riders. And a direct, exactly. Quick 15-second, knowing what your teammates need. Little separation. You will see that Hart's going to close that right on down. That's his job. They're going to keep the speeds high. They're not going to slow down at the front. And everybody's going to get back in order here. That's going to be a little suffering for Perrin when he has to come through, or Hart, because that was an effort that maybe, is going to cause a match to be burned that could have been used on the front. But Jenkins going to continue on, and now it's going to be Perrin most likely coming on through. But they're keeping it pretty solid here through the Fuego Flats as we see the next times coming on through. Fusion at a 15:23. That is the time we were looking for. They absolutely need to bring back that 7 seconds within this next half a race. 7 seconds is the difference for them at this point for a chance at Premier Division.
Wow. All right, that's the bike race, though, as Nathan has identified for us there, that 8-second difference between Beast Mode Crew, because, here we go. So this is going to be our first time coming in 27:27. That's an easy number to remember. Is that going to be the fastest time at 22K? I think there's a realistic chance that that is the case. As you can see, they were 12 seconds behind BZR at that previous check, but they had clearly gone into overdrive talking about next level. BZR more than holding their own out there. So Martin from WTRL called this the Battle Royale. It certainly lived up to it. We're jumping back in with the men of Next Level right now, and you can see that, they are absolutely flying like that. This is a rocket ship on rails as they make their way through this tricky little sector here. So it's going to be a while, folks, to be honest here, a few minutes until we've got BZR and Beast Mode Crew and Fusion coming through. We're going to fill in this intermediate check here, Nathan, with some teams right in the middle of our standings here before we get back to the cream of the crop, because those teams started quite a few minutes later than Next Level here, who are our first team out on course. You see Brian Duffy Jr. right in the middle here of the team. Catanzaro has been, there's not a weak link on this squad, and that speaks to being successful in the team time trial. These guys are killing it.
Yeah, this amazing time here coming on through. Let's take a quick look at where they are out on course for those that might just be joining us here. They have just started finishing up their Fuego Flats. They're at that middle. As you do see the little dot coming through, this team right now is right where the dot is right now. Right there. They only got a few K left to go. They're going to head through Ocean Boulevard, downtown, into the downtown, and then finish up their course there. And then as you do see, the dot does continue on to show the direction of the entirety of the course. So they're on their second half. Not a lot of climbing from here. There's a little bump out of Ocean Boulevard, but it's actually some downhill and some rest here that's going to be coming in for them, as well as some super high speed. A term that I've coined a little bit in some of my TTTing is speed roll. We're going to speed roll through. And I'm going to watch and see if they do it here, whether or not they take riders from the middle of the pack and speed roll through on the downhill. It's kind of an audible. It's like you have formation, and then you pull an audible for what the course is, and you say, hey, speed roll. At least that's and so the riders from the back that have the speed carry it through into the flat, and they're rested and ready to go, rather than the rider's turn that it was, trying to pull at 7 watts per kilogram continuing on. And then the riders at the back, they just waste the speed that they had and the rest that they had. So we'll see if they actually make this happen. Uberti, see the 0 watts per kilogram? You see all that? And now Uberti coming on through. There's the speed roll. Duffy does it right to the front and holds on to that speed.
Good call. And now they're into the aqua tunnel here. You can see that there's that little ramp that you get to go down that drops you into the tunnel. It's you actually get a nicer drop down into it than you have to pay back later at 28K when you start climbing back out here. So finish line is only 3K away. This team is certainly going to be in the conversation for the winning ride out here today. But I have to say, after what they did yesterday, Nathan, they're in very good shape to advance now. I don't think they're going to find themselves on the bubble at all out here. So not saying that they're going to win today, but it looks like they've done the work they need to do. They just need to stay on the gas here, stay focused for another 4 minutes or so, and this one will be done and dusted, and they'll be riding into the Premier League.
Absolutely.
They've done a lot of great work today.
Absolutely amazing work here coming in from them now. As we do see here, the time starting to come in for these, and look at Deepak. They've brought it on a little bit here. 27:58. Now, if we look at the last times though, from these teams, and we start getting some comparisons between them, Deepak were at a 15:30, so they were kind of in that 5th place or so amongst the rest of the teams for the standings overall, as well as for the standings on the TTT. What I'm finding so incredibly interesting is how close things are for these.
It's going to be agonizing for them.
For the points yesterday and to what we're seeing today in the TTT, it's really, it's kind of pairing up pretty well there, actually.
Yeah, the difference for a couple teams, Fusion, the squad you're looking at right now, it could be 5 seconds between getting into the Premier League or racing back in Community again for Season 3. It's going to be that close.
Deepak Leak, 5th place, 16 points yesterday. What will they pull off out here today? Did they do what they needed to in the second half of the course as the times start to come in? These times that come in, GFT there, as well as, oh my God, they killed Kenny. Not really in the conversations with what Deepak is up to here. Really, the conversation is going to be the Plastic Cockneys, Tora 2K Callus, Skylab, as well as BZR. If they're able to take down some time from those, especially Beast Mode Crew. Beast Mode Crew, I think, is the one that they're looking at to try and, bring back some time from that last check mark, because Beast Mode Crew is at that 15:15, whereas they had a 15:30. Also, Fusion ECT, if they can take some points away from Fusion ECT today, that would put Deepak in a good position.
Yeah, so that's really the difference, isn't it? It's not just the ride that you have, hoping that a couple teams help you out and move the teams that you need to come down the table. Well, we're going to be finishing there with Next Level. We'll have a time for you as we're moving back now on course and picking up, looks like the Plastic Cockneys here.
This is going to be the Plastic Cockneys. Going to see what time they come on in with. ATP Racing Hydrogen just ahead of them, and they will be the next team to throw a time down. Look at Perrin, 8 watts per kilogram going into the climb. I think there's some motivation in the legs of these riders. They might have saved a little bit of something here to try and bring back some time on the back end of this as they kick into 48 kilometers per hour on a 3% uphill gradient right now. All of them need to match what is happening toward the front here. We do see Peck coming on with looks like 6 watts per kilogram. You do get a draft. You know what's interesting, Dave, is speed is what impacts draft a lot on Zwift. And so
absolutely,
the higher this, it's interesting because if you have a high speed uphill, you actually do get a little bit more draft. So it's kind of interesting that the total of that group and what they have as a fitness level, the higher the level of fitness and the higher that the front rider can handle, the more draft they actually get in total. So it's almost like you get more rewarded as a team actually for having higher fitness overall on the uphills, which is really interesting because of the speed drafting dynamic. But
right,
Hart now,
well, yeah,
at
that's
the
why.
front.
Yeah, so many times on those KOMs when it's raced and you see a group of 40 guys going over it, they shatter the fastest times that you've ever seen before because they're drafting at that speed. It's incredible. Oh boy.
Tied.
Well, BZR steps up. Yep, take a look
Ooh.
at this 27-14. They're at the 22K checkpoint, so they are quicker than next level. The Belgian boys have stepped up and withstood that charge from next level. So BZR, just as I was saying with next, looking very, very good for them today. And certainly the big goal here, Nathan, moving up into the Premier League. It looks like some dreams are going to be coming true in Brussels.
Yeah, and we do see Classic Cockneys just coming through with Deepak League, but they do get moved down another spot as Beast Mode Crew come through with the 27-31. Deepak League Plastic Cockneys, it looks like tied for fourth and fifth, but it's not going to be what they're looking for with only about 5K of racing to go for them here at this point. BZR maybe even going to be able to make a catch if we do get the first person point of view coming on through here. Van Elst now as he comes through at 6.6 watts per gram, 55 kilometers per hour, trying to chase down the Plastic Cockneys almost within sight now as we get over the bridge here on over to Ocean Boulevard. As you do see the racing to go, Fusion ECT still with 9.3K to go, and a time to come in, being the top seed, coming in with a 15:23 at the 12-kilometer mark. We'll see if they were able to bring back any of that time. So far, it's stayed pretty consistent, though, between all the teams and where they came on through on that first and that second check mark.
Doesn't look like we're going to see any major upsets out here today.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It does look like it is going to be pretty across the board, but we got to wait until they race to the finish line. You have to wait till
no, absolutely. But in a way, it really confirms yesterday's result, and also I think gives some validity to the three teams that are moving out. This was a big day for Next, as far as they haven't really team time trialed before. There were some question marks about whether they could do this at the next level, and they can. They proved it today. So I think that it would be my takeaway, Nathan, was that Next, don't worry about them. They're going to do just fine in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
Assuming they advance.
Looking through here, said. Fusion, 21.9K in. They are actually about to catch it, looks like. Skylab, which looks like Fusion are having an absolutely blazing TTT. Watch out for Fusion.
They really are.
I don't know. This is still maybe a conversation here.
They were close. I agree. That's the one team that's still in with a shot. Well, not the one team, but Fusion is still. And let's see what we've got here. Waiting for that Fusion time, because they weren't that far back, to tell you the truth, at that 12K check.
Yeah, we'll take. I think they'll get.
They're going to need some help.
The checks come in right around when they are into the climb here a little ways. We'll see how that plays out. They're going to make their way through Skylab as Alexi Kalman takes over at the front. Now, I'm not seeing the same watts per kilogram on the front here, but it doesn't always, we saw 7 or 8 from a couple of the other teams, but it doesn't always speak to what kind of cohesion that they've had, because if they're really smooth with their TTT, if they're really, really good with their tactic, if they're really good with their gameplay, you can come through with a little less watts per kilogram, but keep the speeds just as high, as long as you're not slowing the rest of the team down too much. Now, as we do see Christensen take over at the front here, 46, 45. They're going to need a little bit more speed than this.
Forgot what team he's on? Oh, no, that's national champion. Sorry.
Was that on purpose, Dave? Oh, wait, no, that is actually just the national champion of Denmark. So, absolutely awesome. Fusion, 27-30. Oh, my, this matters, Dave. This actually matters.
Oh, man.
Can they bring back? I mean, that's close. That's close enough in 7K or 5K that they have to go here. Oh,
let's take a look now. So remembering this, let's take a look at how Fusion is doing after yesterday and see what they need. So you can see the top 3 teams from yesterday in a little bit of a different order.
1 point, Dave. They need 1 point against Beast Mode Crew. It could come down to the tie. It could come down to the tie right here between Beast Mode Crew. Right here, Beast Mode Crew hats pulling on through. And if Fusion beat Beast Mode Crew, they go into the Premier Division.
Switch there, so we can see that Fusion 1 point behind Beast Mode. If they beat Beast Mode today, that means that they will advance into the Premier League, as this result, today's result, is the tiebreaker. So they would be even on points, but advantage goes to Fusion if that happens. Beast Mode, though, in the driver's seat. They've got a little bit of an advantage right now, a couple of seconds there.
Yeah, we're looking at 7. What is it? Is that 7, 8 seconds? No, we're looking at, I mean, it's like nothing here. We're looking at 8 seconds.
Let's check again. That is
8 second difference.
8 seconds there between Beast Mode Crew and Fusion. It's doable. You looked at Fusion a moment ago. They looked great. This is Beast Mode, the German team. They also are not missing a step. We've got what we were dreaming about, an incredibly tense race here into the final couple K. Oh, my goodness.
Oh man, I'm getting Martin is like, is it gonna be a tie? I can see him in right now. I'm getting comms through from our productions. Oh, but I mean, there's a lot of hysteria happening in the background here in the teams. They see the splits as well. They know what's going on. They're gonna be getting the whips out here for the horses to get moving and trying to get these guys to the line as fast as they can because it matters. It's all on the line for these two teams at this point. Christensen now, here comes Fusion off the dirt. 46 kilometers per hour now. Kalman now, do they have anything left in the legs is going to be the question because it looks like Beast Mode, we're just ramping it up on the back end. But
look at this. Oh, it's heavy with going over 7 watts per kilo, a wattage cottage on the front right now. Oh, man, that is just sheer will. So Denmark has always been a nation that punches above their weight, and we've got the national champion and company making a run at the Premier League. Again, they come in 8 seconds back, but that check was a while ago. Now, that was 22K as they're rapidly coming up on 3K to go. This is what it's all about right here, right now. Two teams in a battle to make their way into the top level of esports racing on planet Earth today.
Right, there's guard now, 55 kilometers per hour. Here comes Christensen with the roll through. Is he going to have the speed? Do not slow down in the front right now. No mistakes can be made. And it goes down to 50 kilometers per hour. Kalman comes through and says, no, we need this 53. What's going to happen between Beast Mode and Fusion? The story of the day. It's all on the line for them. Heading back over to Hats. They're going to finish out. We'll see them come to the line. Emmerich has been taking monster pulls over and over again. I haven't seen him off the front at 7 watts per kilogram. 6 watts per kilogram. Hats pulls in through now. It's going to be Theme, to the front. Hats, Theme, they're all switching spots. Everyone's just going to stand up and see nothing but orange numbers.
Theme's such a strong rider. So they want to close this one out with a brutal last 100 meters. The women and the men on Beast Mode have been phenomenal throughout this entire weekend of racing. They're going to bring 5 to the line here and stop the clock, and we will take note. So looks like, using a thumbnail gauge there, about a 35.50, let's call it. Wow. All right. So going back to Fusion now, these are the team still on course with a chance to upset that apple cart. Beast Mode Crew now will be gasping for oxygen, reaching for a bucket. They couldn't have gone any deeper. They absolutely scraped the bottom of the wattage barrel there. Now it's Fusion's turn to see how deep they can go. We're going to find out how badly the Danes want to be in the Premier League. They're going to have to slay themselves 100 times over to do it.
8 watts per kilogram coming from Christensen. When are we going to see the sacrificial lambs? When are we going to start seeing them just pulling with everything? Because that might be the difference here. Beast Mode stayed together. Are we going to be having here with this a situation where, Heavy here now comes on through as well, where one last pull, everything he's got. I mean, he was at 8 watts per kilogram just a moment ago. I got to think, was he actually taking one last pull? But again, when it does come to that final to the line, everyone sprinting on top of each other does also snowball speed. So Christensen might be worth something still here. He is at the back, 182, resting up, now into the last little bit of a kick out of the Ocean Boulevard.
Oh, man. All right. Buckle up, folks. Here we go. We're going to be bringing home now Fusion as they come into the final K. Oh, it's going to be seconds. Absolutely going to be down to seconds here. It's all on the line. Rittersgaard
here. Look at this. Rittersgaard into the orange again. Oh my goodness. Let's start taking a look here at some of the results as they came in. Right now, 35.41. Next, we're 10 seconds black. Plastic Cockneys, 52.75. We do not have a time just yet from Beast Mode Crew. We'll be able to see that in just a moment. 34.43 all the way to the line for this team.
Well, they've got 1
national
minute.
champion
They've got
leading
1
out.
minute.
National champion leading out. Heavy now over the top. It looks like.
Nathan, they look like they just might do it here. This is absolutely
There's a lot of landscape left here, though, Dave. I don't know.
They make this right-hand turn.
Full on sprint from here on out, man. It's everything on the line. It was 8 seconds. Did it bring it back in that last 7 kilometers?
They're down. Oh my goodness. This last turn. Okay. I think, Nathan, unfortunately, watch the real estate right now.
Right guard
Looks like they
now.
might fall a couple seconds out.
Now it's going to be Nielsen, Hebby, Kalman now all the way to the line. Christensen did drop off. He was that sacrificial lamb there at 8 watts per kilogram earlier. Hebby all the way to the line. Right guard, Nielsen and Kalman. Everybody's up and out of the saddle. Absolute suffering. Mayhem out on course. This was your top seed coming in.
Wow.
Amazing job by Fusion to the line there. They made a race for us, that's for sure. We'll wait for the results to come on in here in just a moment. But what a race there, Dave. The top teams are going to be going across here all out on course.
They left it all out on course, Nathan. Absolutely. Can't ask for more than that. What a fulfilling effort that must be. We'll let the chips fall where they may now, but that's what you're looking for in sport. Teams fighting as hard as they can for what matters to them. And win, lose, or draw, those are the gladiators in the arena right there. Some of the fittest humans on planet Earth. And the ability to race a team time trial, this discipline, so much easier to comment on and look at than it is to do. And this is just some great racing here today. So we're going to let the dust settle over on Ocean Boulevard in Watopia, find out who are the 3 teams that advance. I think it's pretty clear that Next and Beast Mode did the work, but that doesn't answer everything out here.
No, it doesn't. And looking at those times as they were coming in there, I mean, BZR, I got to speak, they really showed up today and just said, we are the fastest TTT team in the entirety of the community, and we are coming for you, Premier Division. What a result they're coming on in. I mean, they won this playoffs. And usually, when it comes to these kind of results, it usually comes down to a little bit closer at that very, very top here between them. But BZR walked away with it by a solid 10 seconds.
Huge ride for the Belgians today. Yeah, that
Absolutely
was really,
ride.
really impressive. I think this will open some eyes in the Premier League as well, Nathan, as when you look at it, the teams that are coming out of the community this season 1 into 2, they had a big impact. I expect the impact to be even bigger with a couple of these teams, and BZR certainly going to be one of them, that when they show up in Premier, they're going to turn some heads. No doubt about it.
Let's go take a quick look here
Leonard
at the
Tugels,
women's side of things quickly. Leonard Tugels is, what a leader. What a leader on that team. Absolutely killing it. But let's take a quick look here. We do have a results for the women's, the Division A champions here. And it is going to be Project Beast Mode taking it down here, as you can see. Absolutely killing it. Great job to them. Dave, really, they were the standout with Alicia Hogg being the leader yesterday in that points race.
Yeah, well earned. This all-German team will be making an impact on April 6th. I can't wait to see as that conversation then how these teams are going to do next season already begins. But huge congratulations to a team that made an impact on social media. They kept it classy. They are a really welcome addition. And I would point to them for if you're out there looking to create a program, men and women, it's very nice to see, Nathan, the squads that have teams on both races. So that then moves us to second place. Leah Thorvaldsen, welcome back to the Premier League. Nice to see that she, Helen McKay, Claire Good, Linny Hedda Madsen, Sabrina Kirtle, and Emmy Kaling, some big stars on that team, and they're going to take the silver medal in our knockout round, our battle royale, but confidently move up into the Premier League. And I'll throw it back to you for Abske Finesse, Nathan.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look here through for the Abske Finesse. It's Danielle Baker taking that 3rd place. It's Haley Boyle. Now, Turbo, interesting enough, what a ride here today by Turbo. I think they came in actually for...
they went from third to second.
Overall. Yeah, right. Recognizing that. What a great job by them in the TTT. So, Abske Finesse with Daniel Baker. They hold on for 3rd, and like I said, a lot of potential in this crew here. With that, Kaylee Boyle, it's going to be Tara Colfreder, Catherine Monks, Paige Bolt, Christy Neild, and Sarah Bishop, all making it in. to the Premier Division. Huge. And speaking to Beast Mode again, awesome job by them showing up in this season out of nowhere and be like, hey, we are on the scene. And obviously have shown up to be one of the top esports teams in the world. That's what I think they have their eyes on the prize there for that team.
Yeah, it's interesting when a team comes in with a lot of ambition, they backed it up, which doesn't always happen. So really impressive job. And yeah, when you look at it, all three teams went through quite a bit through their season. Have to say, for the other teams out there that were racing with these teams, whether it was Riot, who are going up against Abscape Finesse all year, it does your heart good to see the women you raced against getting that promotion as well, as you know that that could be you next season, season 3 coming up. Well, a lot of people and waiting for the men's results here. And as we've said before, it's best to make sure we get them right and get them to you quickly, because this is one we don't want to make a mistake on. That is for sure. So
don't want to
double
no
checking
on this one. Yeah, we're double checking everything, making sure that everything is 100% right. It definitely was very close to the line. So as we're going to be waiting to make sure that we do not have any type of mistakes or anything like that. We can look through, though, the results for the rest of the squads that were out there in and amongst the results for the women. We have those up and ready to go. So let's take a look at the B results here for the women. It does look like it is going to be ATP Racing Stingers coming on through with a 43-37 for first. S Sox for Watts, SBR Cake there. Wow, that was a battle for the Bees Championship there. Only a tenth of a second back there. Then it's going to be Audi Women for third. And then Cryogen, Mary Blanc coming on through for fourth. TBR Smile On. They were in fifth place. C category for the women's here, Dave.
Well, there you go. Congratulations. Herd of Otters won with the 3.5 watts per kilo. They lead in every category and have the fastest time with a 44.55. Way to go, Herd of Otters won. Aeonian Chicas, 10 seconds back. That was close out there. They're going to take the silver medal today. Herd of Meerkats in third at 111 back. And then our friends at ATP Racing Hive in fourth place, 125 back. Great day of racing for our C's.
And in the D category, Herd of Blistering Bobcats come on through 51.56 back. BRT Blazing Kittens, they throw down and they get second place, 40 seconds back in the women's D category. That was the situation there. As we are waiting a little bit longer here for the results to come in, and it looks like, we actually have it here. So just give us a second, a little bit of patience with us for just a moment. And we have, it looks like it was a 4-second difference here, Dave. 4-second difference between the teams. Oh, man, this one was so close. And what do you think here? I don't know. I mean,
It's funny, Nathan. I remember saying that it could be less than 5 seconds that separates you from making the Premier League to racing back in community. Sounds like that came true. That's incredible, isn't it? Less than 5 seconds was the difference for your team.
Yeah,
Boy, does your heart go out to the riders that don't get the promotion. But all I can say is keep your head up. You were so competitive out there, and certainly you've earned a lot of respect. I'm sure you came a long way as a team, and keep it going. Season 3 will be yours.
Yeah, and looking through here, we'll bring in the results here so everybody can see the splits actually first, and then we'll go ahead and announce our champions. But here it is. It is going to be BZR Esports team taking it down, followed up by Next Level and Beast Mode Crew. They just hold on. Fusion brought back, if they had a little bit more landscape, if this was a 32 kilometers, or rather than 20, I mean, they were coming on faster and faster toward the back end of this race here. But Beast Mode Crew, they held on for third. Fusion ECT come through for fourth. Plastic Cockneys in fifth. DPAC Elite in sixth. It's going to be Team Tour 2K Gallus in seventh. Skylabs in eighth. And then it is going to be GFTBE followed up by ATP Racing Hydrogen. So congratulations to our champions. It is going to be BZR.
BZR doing what BZR does. That's no surprise. Next Level, Well, I think all the doubters were served up some humble pie as they showed you they certainly do know how to team time trial. So I'll go back, Nathan. I want to make sure all these riders get to feel what it's like to be called the best in the world, as Frederick van Kranest taking BZR over the line today with the mighty Leonard Tugels, Matthias de Roos, who also was a huge impact rider here this season, Michel Offermans, Reinus Verhel, Stefan Van Elst, super strong as well, Yanni de Bok. Way to go, BZR Sports Solid Red. Then, next level, we said Ashton Lambie brought a tremendous amount of in real life experience and that great vibe. Ashton Lambie is more than a bike racer, he is a lifestyle. And Ashton, great job. Ryan Duffy Jr. there, what a huge role he played. Chris Uberti, unbelievable job all season from Chris. This entire team deserves a big pat on the back. Greg Grosicki, Nick Taylor, and Scott Catanzaro making up the next level team that earned a promotion to the big leagues. See you in Premier League, guys.
Yeah, and we do see it looks like Beast Mode, Christoph Time coming on through, and then Christopher Hatz, Jan Ulmerich, Nicholas Ranker, Zis, and then Valentin Zale coming on through for that third place, and just by 4 seconds. That was the difference between them making Premier and staying in amongst the community. A big shout out though to Fusion ECT. What a show that they put on. It was right to the line. We said at the start of the show, being one of the best TTT crews that were out there, best TTT teams out there, that they could make a run for it, and they did. They brought it right to the line. It was just off by 4 seconds, but Beast Mode crew, they held on. They made it happen, and both in the men's and the women's, that is something I want to highlight. Beast Mode crew looks like are here to stay across the men's and the women's categories for the top end of esports. It's going to be great to see how they end up playing in Premier Division.
Yesterday, they had 0 teams in the Premier League. Today, they have 2. Big change.
Yeah, that is a huge change. Exactly. Absolutely. Let's also
you can
highlight
only have
what's
2.
happening.
That's the maximum. Yeah, right.
Let's go ahead and highlight what's happening as well in the results for the rest of the categories here. It is going to be the Kirchner Bees coming on through for first place there, followed up by Team CLS Pure Quality. Dirty Beasts Hellhounds coming on through for third. BRT Draft Beers in fourth. RWB Emerald Flyers there in fifth. Dirty Ducks in sixth. ATP Racing Neon in seventh. On Your Bike Z Sunshine in eighth. And the Evo Barbarians in ninth.
Let me take a look at the C's here, and it's another BZR team. This time it's Belgian Zwift riders Rhinos 1 as they'll take it today in our C group. BRT, the Badgers for silver, and TBR, the Big Ring 44 Tooth for third. ATP Racing Nitrogen in fourth. Vikings Yggdrasil in fifth. RWB Green Dragons in sixth. Kirkmeyer Hunting Bees in seventh. That's terrifying. Cryogen El Tede in eighth.
And then looking
Hunting Bees, Nathan.
Hunting Bees.
Yikes.
I like the hunting bees. That sounds scary. That sounds like...
It does.
It sounds pretty scary. As they come in, there may be a few still coming on through toward the finish line here, so just was a heads up on that. But as it stands right now, Team Netherlands in the D's are leading the results right now at 49-17. Our Endangered Rhinos coming on through for second. It's the Herd of Charging Coursers. They are currently in third. Barring anybody else coming across the line, that will be the results for the D's. I have a feeling there's a few more teams, though, out on course. So, and, well, we've crowned our champions. We've got 3 teams from the men's and the women's both going over to the Premier Division now, Dave. And this was some of the best broadcasts we've ever seen. This is one of the things I've been looking forward to for quite a while when it comes to the sport of Zwift racing in this esport, was out of the community, finding who the best of the best are and giving them their spots in the top end of the professional racing that is a part of this esport.
Isn't it awesome, Nathan? I know that that's been something you've worked very hard towards. And what I love too is the in real life racers who have the courage and the ability are welcome to jump in as well. And we really do get what we were looking for, the best from both worlds at the most competitive level. This was awesome. I agree with you. Yesterday's points race, today's team time trial show you exactly why we love the Zwift community live so much with ZRL racing and WTRL team time trials. We got a good thing going. I'll see you before April 6th. I'm sure I'll
Yeah,
see you next Thursday.
probably.
We got the 100th WTRL coming up to look forward to. There's a lot of energy around that. Expect some big news and cool stuff. But Nathan, thanks again for letting me be along for the ride. This was awesome. If we get to do this every few months, have this kind of exciting way to wrap up our community season, I think they really figured things out.
One thing I do want to highlight is something you just said, Dave. You can put a community team together and there's direct access to a professional level of racing online right now, right?
We got there. We got
we
there.
just saw that. We just saw that. We saw the identification through a competition of the results to the top end of sport within a 6-month process pretty quickly. 2 seasons. The first season, obviously, now a second season. We have a third season. Put your team together, get out there, and start racing, because you might be able to do what we just saw these champions do. It's absolutely awesome to see. A little bit of housekeeping as well. We got something new for you coming on next Wednesday. Watch out, Test Labs on its way back. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But the highlight today, as we talk of what's coming down the road, obviously next week we're going to have the TTT. It's been an absolutely awesome week of racing, the playoffs here. And congratulations, though. The real highlight is the champions today. Congratulations, everybody that's made it. Thanks to all the viewers for jumping in here with us here. And we'll see you next week. As always, everybody, ride on.